Well, welcome back to Max Nave Horsemanship again. And I've often talked about not stressing the horse and using methods and techniques and just, well, not so much what you use, but how you use it that minimizes the amount of stress that you're putting on the horse when you're working with it. And I want to give you a little example of something that you can use as a very good indicator. And there's actually a couple that you can use. One is if the horse is relieving itself quite regularly while you're working with it, that's generally an indication of stress. I talked about that quite a while ago in a video, how you can identify the stress level in your horse based on how often it relieves itself, because that is a thing that horses do for some reason, that when they get really stressed, they relieve themselves a lot. So if your horse is frequently relieving itself when you're working with it, maybe dial it back a little. It could be an indicator that you're pushing the horse a little too hard, putting a little bit too much stress on it. The first few times you work with a horse or have it in an arena or a strange place, it's actually not unusual at all to see that kind of thing happening, and over time it will do it less and less. But it's, again, it's one of those things, if you've been working with the horse for a couple weeks or even months and it's still relieving itself frequently, that's an indicator that you're pushing it a little too hard, getting it a little bit stressed, and maybe you should back off just a tiny bit in the way you're doing things. But I'm going to give you another example of a good indicator of whether or not you're stressing the horse when you're with it. Now, I've seen videos, guys, talking about how to release a horse safely, which I think is nonsense, because if you're not stressing the horse out in the first place, well, it's not going to be dangerous when you let it go. And I actually did a couple of videos on how to release a horse safely, which was basically whatever you want. Very simple. But that can also be a good indicator of the stress you're putting on the horse when it's with you, which would determine whether or not it wants to get away with you as soon as you take that halter off. And I'm going to go get a horse here in a second, and I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, something that you can use, it's a very, very good indicator of whether or not you're stressing the horse. And, well, first off is the head position is a good indicator. As you can see, her head's quite low. That means she's fairly relaxed. That's not the only thing that you can use as an indicator. And this comes along with when you let your horse go. If it really wants to get away from you because you're really stressing the crap out of it, as soon as you take that halter off, it's going to take off. But if you actually have no problem with that and the horse is quite happy to stay with you once the halter's off, that's a pretty good indicator that you're not stressing the horse. And she's going to stand here and wait for me to actually tell her to go away and go back to eating, because that's what she was doing when I interrupted her. So, is your horse stressed? Does it want to take off the minute you take the halter off? That is a good indicator of a stressed horse, because it wants to get away of the source of stress and confusion that it's enduring. And, well, if it doesn't want to do that, if it doesn't go anywhere when you take the halter off, well, that's a pretty good indicator that you're doing things okay. Have a good day. Okay, you can go back to eating now, dear. There you go. Yeah, you can go. It's okay. You can go. Well, I must be doing something right. She doesn't even want to leave me. Bye now.